Welcome to part 7 of the Christmas card development. In this video we're going to focus on adding fairy lights to the Christmas tree, and we're going to code them using the Tkinter create oval method. So what you're looking at here is we're going to design the oval shape, and then we're going to plot the points of the tree on the card at the moment, and then we're going to plot the points of the new oval shapes. So the first thing we need to do then is understand how this create oval works. So here's a rough oval shape, and the way Tkinter codes this so that you can actually recreate it in your window is it puts a bounding box. So I'm just going to draw a wee bounding box around this. Okay, that's very rough. No one sees the bounding box, it's just Tkinter, it's the only way it can handle it. And what it does is it takes a vertex of the top left hand coordinate and bottom right hand coordinate. So those are two of the parameters that are passed into this create oval method, along with any fill colour. And if you're wanting to add a border, you don't need to add a border, and we're not going to add a border, we don't want it because they're quite small, these lights. Now, so this is the oval one, which means the width here is wider than the height, and that's what's given us the oval shape. But you can also create a circle. So if I draw roughly a circle shape, and this time when we put the bounding box around it, what we can say from this, again, it's the same vertices, top left and bottom right. But what we can say from this is we want this width to be 5 pixels and we want the height to be 5. So that's what gives us our circle shape. Whereas here in the oval we could say that this width here is 10, whereas the height is 5. So it's kind of, the bounding box is a rectangle there, whereas the bounding box here is a square. So when you are coding this to add these to the tree, you want to have calculated in advance the size, and the way to do that is the coordinates of this vertex here was 0, 0. It was right up in the top corner of the window. If it was 10, the width, that means you would be adding 10 to the x coordinate. So down here, the coordinate would become 10, and the height would come down 5. So that would be, and that's how you can control the size of the shape that you're creating. If it was this circle, and we used the same coordinates, so that would be 0, 0 in top left-hand corner of the window. And this time we were coming along 5 pixels and down 5 pixels. So just by putting the coordinates in of these two positions, the program can calculate the width of the shape and the height. And if both of these values are the same, then you're going to produce a circle shape. Good. Now, what we want to do now is we want to plot these shapes on this tree. And at the bottom here I've copied in the code that we have so far for each of these shapes. So this is triangle 1, triangle 2 and triangle 3. Right, so there's triangle 1, triangle 2 and triangle 3. So 340, remember, is the midline running down the middle of the, so let me just put that in. So if we say this is the midline, roughly straight, and we can say that this is 340 on the x, and we're not really interested in the height of it at the moment. It's just this midline that we're interested in. Now, so we can start to plot this first. So up here we can definitely see, I'm going to do it in red, we can definitely see that this first coordinate, this first vertex is 340 by 230. The second one, 290 by 310, is here. 290 by 310. And you might be saying to yourself, why do I need to do this? Have a think about that for a minute and see how this is going to help us if we do it. Now, the third one is 390 by 315. 390 by 315. Now, remember, the second one is the height. So we can say that this line going along here is now 310. Yeah, so we can put in a dotted line. Let's do it in black, just to help us. Remember, this is the design, so you can put in whatever you want in here. So this line is giving us 310, and the midline is giving us 340. So all the coordinates, if you were putting a fairy light in this section, it would have to be less than 340 on the X and less than 310 on the height. But you have to watch you don't end up with your light out with that. Right, so let's go to the second triangle and plot those points. Now, we know that this apex is hiding. It's roughly here. I'm going to change this actually to be a different colour so that we don't get confused, or we minimise the risk of confusion. So this is the second hiding apex, and that's at obviously 340 by 290. 340 by 290. This second vertex is 260 by 400. 260 by 400. And this third vertex of the second triangle is 430 by 405. 430 on the X by 405, because remember we made a wee jaunty line, it's not completely horizontal. So we can now say that this section here is 400. So between 310 and 400 we can put some bobbles, and we know that this midline is still 340, so that will help us in our calculation. Right, let's look at the third shape now, and let's change our colour. I think I'll go for blue for this one. So again, the first apex is just hiding up here somewhere, and it is 340 by 350. So 340 by 350. The second vertex is 230 by 510. 230 by 510. And the third vertex is 460 by 515. So 460 by 515. So what we can tell from this is this line down here is between 510 and 515. And it's up here's 400, so our y coordinate for our baubles has to be greater than 400, but less than 5, because you don't want a bauble hanging off the tree. Maybe you do, maybe you want a fairy light off the tree. If it's an icicle shape that you're creating, we'll try and make them land on the tree. So we're going to code 5 oval shapes, and it could be, it's called oval because the create oval is the name of the method, but as you've seen here, you could create a circle using that method. So that's what oval represents here, not that it's an actual oval shape. It could be a circle shape as well. So we'll put oval 1, which is black. Where will we put it? We'll put it in the top one here. So we'll put a great big right there. That's going to be oval 1. So oval 1 is there. Oval 2, where will we put it? It's orange, so let's go and get the orange, and we'll put the oval 2 over here. So this is oval 2, pointing there at that. Where will we put oval 3 now? It's a purple pen. Let's go and get that purple colour. Oval 3, I feel as if it needs to be maybe right there in the middle. Oval 3 we'll put there. So this is oval 3 pointing here, and I think we'll make them these colours as well. Well, we'll try and make them these colours. Maybe not black. Have you ever seen a black fairy light? I don't think I have. Right, oval 4 we'll put down here. So let's go and get that blue. And we'll maybe make it a bit bigger. Oval 4. We'll maybe go here. I might actually just point at that. Save me writing that out again. And oval 5, oh, I've made that green. Right, I can't really use the green for it, so I'll just use this purple again. So oval 5 will sit over here, make that quite big as well. Right, and this is going to be our oval 5. Here. So now we know where we want them to be situated on our tree. All we have to do over here is write out the coordinates, and I'm going to put them in black. So let's start with the first one. Then we need to put on our Sherlock Holmes hat here and do a bit of deduction. Well, that means that on the X, now remember it's 2 sets of coordinates that we're putting in here, the starting coordinates and the ending coordinates, and that will give us the size. So the starting is the top left and this ending coordinates is the bottom right of this shape. So we can say that here's the midline on 340 and there is the end of that on 310. So I'm going to say that this midline is maybe about could even be 320. So 320. And on the height, it's maybe 270. Let's go for 270 and see what happens there. 270. Now we'll make this one, so that's the first 2 coordinates. Let's put the end 2 coordinates in here as well. So we'll maybe say we want this to be 5 pixels. And it's going to be a circle shape, so that means that it's the next coordinate, the ending coordinate will be 325 and the height will be 275. Okay, so that's shape 1. Right, let's work out the X of the first coordinate for oval 2. So where is it? There's 340 and this is 260. Ooh, 260 coming up here, so that could be, and this one, what did we say, 320? That could be 290. Let's try 290 and see what happens on that. And height wise, it's more than 310, but it's less than 400 and it's really close to 400. Let's go for 370. Right, so let's close this off. Now this is going to be a wee bit bigger. Let's make this 10 pixels, but we're still going for a circle. So this will be 300 and 380. That will give us a double the size of this one here. Let's do oval 3 next. So let's work out the X coordinate of the top left hand vertex. So this one here of this shape here. So what can we say? Well, it's right on the midline. So that's 340, but we want it to straddle the midline, so we'll need to come back and we're going to make it maybe 10 pixels wide. So that will be 335. And the Y coordinate is halfway between 310 and 400. So that would be 345. So let's go for that, 345. And the bottom would be 345 and 355. Right, oval 4 is right down here. Top left X coordinate, so it's more than 340 because we're on this side of the midline, but it's less than 460. So 340 to 460. Let's go for 395. 395, and the height, well, it's more than 400, but it's less than 515. So let's go for 470. And then we'll put in the we'll make this one maybe 15 pixels and a circle. Let's make it an oval, so we'll make it wider than it is tall, so let's go for 15 by 10. So add 15 onto this would be 410 and 480. That'll be interesting to see the difference in the shapes. Now the last one, oval 5, is right here, so it's less than 340. It's not passed over that midline, so the top left x coordinate of that vertex would be less than 340 but greater than, oh look at that, maybe 310. Have we got a 310 anywhere? Because we don't want them all to be the same. So 310, and the height of it would be maybe 4, that one's 470, so we want it to be less than that. Let's make it 440. Now the closing, we're going to make it 15 wide. In fact, let's make it 10 wide and 15 long, so a different shape, oval shape from that. So that's 320 then. And 15 coming down from this would be 455. Good, right, so we've identified where we want them to go in our design. We've identified the coordinates using the coordinates that we have for the tree at the moment, so that our coordinates that we've just put on are relative to these ones. So it's now time for starting up Thorny and opening up your Christmas card version 6, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've opened up Thorny and I've opened up the previous version, version 6. So the first thing we've got to do so that we keep our version control going is immediately save this as version 7. So File, Save As, and change that V6 to version 7. Version 7. Okay, check it's version 7, and now we can update this. So we'll change your version 6 note to version 7, and we'll need to change this message. So it says this version will draw a vector graphic shape of a star. So this version will draw a vector graphic shape of fairy lights. On the Christmas tree, using the canvas create oval method. Full stop. The parameters that are passed into this method are the coordinates of the top left vertex and the bottom right vertex of the bounding box, and let's put that in brackets, invisible, around the oval or circle shape. And you can also have a fill colour, and you can also add a border colour. We're not going to put a border colour in because it's not big enough, but just so that you know you can. Okay, let's go down now and look at our version history and see if we need to update any of that. So version 1 dealt with the window, size, title, so that's fine, we don't need to change anything there. Version 2 dealt with putting in the icon file into the title. Version 3 dealt with the canvas, changing the background colour to red, Christmas red and Christmas green. Version 4 dealt with swapping out the background colour for a background image of a nice cosy Christmas scene. And then version 5 dealt with adding the tree, drawing the tree into our environment. And then last video was this version 6, which added a star to the tree. So let's get rid of that new for version 6. And then come down to the end of the code and put in your comment. So new code for version 7. And then let's put in another one-line comment to say what version 7 deals with. So this is drawing oval circles onto the tree to represent fairy lights. Great. Right, all's good. So what we want to do now is actually start creating the code. So we're going to use that canvas object, and if you remember, if you've forgotten why we keep saying canvas, if you go back up to in the third video, we talked about this canvas object and creating it. So the capital C represents the class canvas, and we've used a variable with lowercase c canvas to represent this object. So we're now referring to that using this variable canvas. So we're going to say canvas dot create oval, and then we'll pass in parameters. Now we know we've got 5 of these to do. So we'll start with the first one, and then we'll maybe copy and paste the next ones down. So the first one, we've got coordinates to put in here of 320 by 270. So 320 by 270. You can see I'm putting a comma in. When I'm saying the word by, I'm actually putting a comma in, and then another comma to separate, and then put the closing coordinates in of the bottom right hand vertex, and that's 325 by 275, 325 by 275, and then we'll put the fill in, and we'll say fill is assigned, and we'll put in, we'll try gold. Let's see if gold exists. No, let's go for something that we know is there. Let's go for red. Okay, now that we've got that in there, let's copy it. And paste it underneath. And then all we need to do is update the coordinates. So the next coordinates are 290 by 370 and 300 by 380. And we'll make this one blue. In fact, orange. The next one was orange. Right. Paste in again, Control V. The third oval is 335 by 345. See how good it is when you've actually designed it. 345. It's much quicker putting your coding in once you've got a clear idea and a record of what you're actually doing. The x coordinate of the bottom right is 345, and the height of it is 355. Okay, and we'll change that colour to a nice blue. And let's go for oval 4 now. So we'll say 395 for the first x coordinate, and 470 for the first y coordinate, and 410 for the second x coordinate, and 480. And we'll change that colour to yellow. last one, 310 by 440. What have we got? 325, no, 320 by 455. Okay, now what colour will we do for that? Oh, I don't have purple. Let's try purple. And save it. Control S to save it, and then F5 to run it, or you could use this run command. And if all's went well, you should have some baubles on your tree, and they do roughly match the design, the position. That one's really close to the edge, isn't it? Look at the shapes that we've created with the last two, just by changing the width and not making it a circle shape, having the same width and same height. I'm not sure which ones I like the best, but if you were, it's quite normal in Christmas trees that you have lots of different sets of lights, so you might want a set that are that shape and a set that are that shape, and they're all different sizes. You might want your small ones for up there, and then they gradually get bigger. Now, this is just an example. You can go ahead now and add more baubles and add more lights to your tree. And in a future video, we will take these and we will code them so that they flash. Excellent.